Vin Diesel is one of the biggest movie stars in the world. Even if you somehow manage to avoid watching any of the Fast and Furious movies, I'm sure you still know who Vin is. And if you don't, well, he starred in every single one of the fast action thriller F&F films, as well as countless other blockbuster hits like Guardians of the Galaxy and Wreck-It Ralph. With a resume like that, you'd be safe to assume that he's made a lot of money in his career. In fact, you don't have to assume. Vin Diesel has an estimated net worth of over $200 million. And with the way his career has been going in the past decade, with the box office domination of the Fast and Furious movies, some predict he could be a billionaire before we know it. But the real question is, what does Vin Diesel do with all his money? Does he tuck it away in a savings account to ensure a safe future? Maybe. But he also buys multi-million-dollar vehicles and travels the world in luxury. So why don't we talk about some of Vin's more extravagant purchases and spending habits? Nobody should be surprised that the man associated with movies about fast cars would buy some, well, fast cars. But it's not just some fast cars, it's a few dozen. So let's start with some of the classics Vin Diesel has in his garage. On the rarer side, Vin has a 1974 Plymouth Barracuda, which is actually the year they stopped making these cars. The estimated price tag on this beast is around $60,000, which might seem a little cheap, but we're just getting started. He also has a 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona, which is one of 503 ever made. As one of the most iconic muscle cars of its era, it's hard to find any of these for lower than $200,000. Obviously, that's pretty hefty, but it's nowhere near the most expensive car he owns. That title belongs to this monster, the Lykan Hypersport by W Motors. With a price tag of around $3.4 million, this one's an easy indicator of some of Vin's more lavish spending habits. Only 7 were ever produced, and the specs on this car are wild. The headlights are literally embedded with diamonds. It can jump from 0 to 60 under 3 seconds and has a top speed of 245 miles per hour. Yep, sounds like the right car for Dom Toretto. In stark contrast to these extravagant vehicles, Vin has also gotten his hands on some more practical cars, at least by his standards. We're talking about a 1993 Mazda RX-7, which you can find for around $16,000, a 1994 Toyota Supra, which would run you back around $30,000, and a 2009 Subaru Impreza WRX STI for a little over $36,000. But his collection isn't just growing from his own wallet. He also has a few gifts sprinkled in there. His F&F friends surprised him for his 52nd birthday with one of the most powerful cars ever, and easily one of the most sought-after muscle cars in the world, the 1970 Dodge Charger Tantrum. These bad boys have a price tag of around $700,000, and Vin actually has a boat engine in it, so that's a thing. With a collection like this, it's pretty easy to see why Vin Diesel plays his Fast and Furious role so well. It's second nature. Now, it's not just vehicles that Vin likes to spend his money on. He also makes sure to dip his toes into the realty game. Vin Diesel owns several different properties, the first of which was a fairly humble abode in the Hollywood Hills. He listed it for sale a few years ago at a price point of $1.4 million. Obviously, as a home in the Hollywood Hills for a mega movie star, you might think that's pretty modest, but not so fast. You can't forget about his 11,000 square foot Atlanta home with an estimated price tag of around $4 million. This place has everything. For starters, a 3-car garage, which might seem a little small since Vin has plenty of vehicles to go around, but that's not it. There's a 12-person dining room, a full bar, 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, an elevator, because why not? And of course, a weight room. Would it really be Vin Diesel's house if it didn't have a weight room? That's not even to mention the 4 patios, a cinema room, a pool, spa, a wine cellar, and an entire guest house. This Atlanta pad simply has everything. But that's not where it ends for Vin as a property owner. He's also rumored to have a house tucked away in Beverly Hills that he picked up for $2.2 million. Before we get to any more of Vin's money moves, let us know in the comments which purchases you think were the craziest so far. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you won't miss our next upload. So now that we've covered Vin's lavish collection of cars and comfortable ownership of homes across the country, Let's get into some more business-savvy money moves that he's made. Back in 1995, Vin Diesel founded his own production company known as One Race Films. Since then, he's been able to play a key role in a lot of money movement behind the scenes in Hollywood. One of the bigger moves he's made was purchasing the rights to the XXX franchise from Revolution Studios. The price tag on that isn't public, but it's certainly safe to assume it wasn't cheap. While One Race Film also produces video games and other media, the biggest thing they're known for is producing the Fast and Furious films. So in a way, Vin doesn't just star in the films, he has a lot of creative control. And with that creative control comes a lot of financial control. Through One Race Films and the success of the F&F films, Vin Diesel has been able to invest a lot of money back into the entertainment industry, both on the franchise itself and other projects. It's clear that Vin has been able to handle a smart balance of spending to maintain multi-millionaire status, both enjoying the luxuries of a big bank account while making fun purchases, and also investing in new prospects when he can. But wait, that's not all. We could dive into the ways he spent his money traveling, like vacationing in the Canary Islands, or flying him and his son to a Golden State Warriors game on a private jet. But the price tag on these trips are all speculation, of course. That being said, the average cost of a private jet is around $13,000 an hour. So yeah. Vacationing aside, one of the crazier purchases he's ever made was on a 1,100 square foot, 2-floor motorhome. Just like his Atlanta home, this thing has everything you could ever want. Media rooms, luxury carpets and furniture, huge kitchen, and everything in between. How much did it cost, you ask? $1.1 million. With all these purchases piled up, it's pretty easy to see that Vin Diesel doesn't live any kind of ordinary life. He splurges on cars and homes, travels the world, and opens up his wallet to some crazy, maybe even unnecessary purchases. But more than any of this, Vin loves to spend on his family. We of course mentioned the Warriors game with his son, but it's safe to assume that Vin has spent millions on his wife and 3 kids over the years. And that's because Vin isn't just a badass action movie star, but a family man too. What would you do if your bank account looked like a movie star's? Would your spending habits look anything like Vin Diesel's? Or would you do something a little different? Be sure to let us know. With all the ways Vin could spend $250 million, I'd have to say this list seems pretty on brand. Thanks for watching.